Hello, dear children. It's your own Dr. Handa present before you with a poem from your book Flamingo. This poem is penned by Kamala and the title of the poem is My Mother at 66. And before going through the poem, let me tell you something about the poetess of this poem, about the writer of this poem, Kamala Das. Kamala Das, as we know her, also wrote by her pen name of Madhavi Kuti. Her best known works are her autobiography. She was born in Kerla and is one of the India's first poets. Her subject matter is basically related to her personality, beauty, sensitive, bold, and tormented. External factors do not reflect in her writings. Her writings bring out her true inner feelings. Her favorite poem is composition. And in the present poem, the mother at 66, she talks about her mother. And this poem is based on mother-daughter relation and the poet shares her feelings for her mother. This poem doesn't have any metric scheme. It is rather in a verse form. And before going through, let me introduce you what this poem is about. My Mother at 66 is written by Kamala Das, who is famous for capturing complexities of human relationship. The poem, My Mother at 66, is one of the finest examples of the human bonding, especially that of mother and daughter. It describes the pain and fear of the poet of losing her mother due to harsh reality of life, which is death. Yes, my dear children. Now, before going through the summary or the let me let me recite to you this poem. Yes, it's a beautiful piece of writing, my dear children. Driving from my parents' home to Cochin last Friday morning, I saw my mother beside me, doze, open mouthed, her face ashen like that of a corpse, and realized with pain that she was as old as she looked. But soon put that away and looked out at young trees, sprinting the merry children spilling out of their homes. Driving from my parents' home to Cochin last Friday morning, I saw my mother beside me, dozed, open mouthed, her face ashamed like that of a corpse, and realized with pain that she was as old as she looked, but soon put that thought away and looked out at young trees sprinting, the merry children spilling out of their homes. The merry children spilling out of their homes, but after the airport security check, but after the airport security check, standing a few yards away, I looked again at a wan, pale, as a late winter's moon, and felt that old familiar ache, my childhood fears. But all I said was, "See you soon, Amma," and all I did was smile and smile and smile. This is what this poem is, my dear children. Also, a beautiful piece of writing. So let us know the central theme of this poem. Yes, my dear children, what's the central theme of this poem? This poem is an intimate work presenting the poet's thoughts. It deals with the feelings of fear and emotions that daughters experience with their mothers. Any child is attached to its mother. Similarly, children generally are afraid of losing their mothers. This poem brings out this ordinary but profound human nature through a personal reverie. Death is inevitable, but People are afraid of losing their dear ones. As the poet expresses, the bond between a mother and a child is special. And therefore, the anxiety of losing the relationship is also strong. And as its thematic concern, the poem brings out the inner thoughts of a daughter for her mother. Poet brings out the inner thoughts of a daughter for her mother. Now, my dear children, verse 2, what the central idea is there? So let us do the summary of this poem. This poem, My Mother at 66, it confesses a daughter's fear of losing her mother. Firstly, the daughter, that is the poet, is surprised to realize that her mother is aging. Secondly, she notices how the rest of the world appears young and energetic. This is contrast to her mother who continues to age. Thirdly, the poet expresses her apprehension over losing her mother if the old woman dies. Finally, the poet says how she hides her true feelings and smiles outwardly. She wishes to show her love for her mother. She wishes to show her love for her mother. The poet is a confessor of feeling in this poem. Yes, she is a confessor of feelings. She describes her feelings for her mother while traveling in a car. It is during one of our visits to our it is during one of our visits to our mother's place. The poet looks at her mother's face and realizes that her mother has grown old. She is disturbed by the fact that her mother may die soon of old age. She becomes emotional and tries to distract herself by looking out at the passing scenery. The poet records the contrasting nature of the scenery. There are young trees and playing children. They represent the freshness and youth of what is on earth, while her mother looks old and frail. While her mother looks old and frail. In the final part of the poem, the poet expresses her fear of losing her mother to death. Even as a young girl, the poet has similar feelings and fears. She was so afraid of losing her mother that she would never leave her for a moment. The poet, even as a grown up daughter, experiences a similar emotion. However, she can hide her fears. She smiles at her mother. She tries to express her love and affection to her aging mother. What she does? She tries to express her love and affection to her aging mother as the poet bids goodbye. Now, my dear children, is the time to analyze this poem. Yes, it's very important to analyze this poem because this poem deals with the complex realities of life, the subtle realities of life. The opening segment of the poem, My Mother at 66, it presents the poet's realization of her mother's aging. The poet notices the old appearance of the mother during her car journey from her place to the airport at Cochin. The mother is sleeping with her mouth open. As the car travels, the daughter observes her mother. The mother's face appears ashamed. The pale complexion of the old mother is similar to that of a dead body, that of a corpse. The mother looks as old as her age. The thought of the corpse forces the poet to think of her mother's death. The sleeping form of her mother allows the poet to observe her in uninhabitedly. This marks her emotional. This makes her emotional. Yes. Now the second part, middle part of the poem. The middle part of the poem, A Mother at 66, it alludes. It alludes to the disturbed state of poet's mind. When she thinks of her mother's death, she puts the thoughts away. Then she looks out through the window of the car. She looks at the passing green trees and young children coming out of their homes to play. The world around the poet appears young and energetic. It forms a contrast to the state of her mother. The poet describes the youthful scenery of the world to underscore the mature years of her mother. Furthermore, the scenery distracts the poet for a while during the car journey. It distracts the poet for a while during the car journey. And the last part of the poem highlights how reality haunts the poem about her mother's condition. Yes, the reality that she is going to die, reality that she is going to lose her mother very soon, reality that the next time she won't be able to meet her mother alive. The poet tries to distract herself from her surroundings, but her mother's appearance pulls her back again during the airport security check. Once again, the poet observes her mother. Her mother looks pale and grey. Then the poet compares her mother to a winter moon. This highlights that her mother is in the last stage of her life, much like winter. The poet is once again reminded of the mother's imminent demise. Imminent demise, imminent death. Demise means imminent death. The thought of her mother's death brings back the poet's childhood fears. As a child, the poet was so afraid of her mother's death. She would never leave her side at any moment. But now, the poet says that the old fears have surfaced again. The poet is now a grown up woman and she can hide her fears. The daughter simply smiles at her mother and bids farewell as she moves towards her flight. The poet says, "See you soon, Amma," and leaves with a smile. The poem concludes by underscoring the optimistic behavior people display towards their loved ones. It concludes by underscoring the optimistic behavior people display toward their loved ones. Now, my dear children, is the time to do the paraphrasing of the poem. Yes, it is more important to know what literary devices the Kamala has used in this poem and to know what this poem is about. So let us start, my dear children. Driving from my parents' home to Cochin last Friday morning, I saw my mother beside me means along with. And here she has used a literary device, assonance. Assonance means the use of vowel sound, that is O, repeated. To Cochin last Friday morning. To Cochin last Friday morning. This is called assonance. The use of vowel sound O. It can be any vowel sound otherwise. So the poetess explains. She explains to us. वो एक्सप्लेन करती है कि एक दफा वो अपने घर आई थी अपने पेरेंट्स को विजिट करने के लिए, अपने घर कोचीन के पास था जो गांव में। अब ये अब उसे वापस जाना था अपने ससुराल, और ये एक फ्राइडे था और वो ड्राइव वापस जा रही थी एक कार में एयरपोर्ट पे कोचीन के लिए। कोचीन एयरपोर्ट से उसे फ्लाइट लेनी थी और उसकी माँ उसके साथ बैठी थी, पिछली सीट पे बैठी थी, एट द बैक ऑफ द कार, सीट ऑफ द कार। एंड द पोएट लुक्ड एट हर मदर, शी लुक्ड एट हर मदर, उसने देखा अपनी माँ को, शी लुक्ड हर मदर, doors, open mouth, her face ashen like that of a corpse. Oh, doors, open mouth, her face ashen like that of a corpse, and realized with pain. Doors का मतलब होता है small छोटी नींद, nap. Ashamed, pale, very pale, and corpse mean dead body. Here again, She has used three vowel sounds O, A, and E. Doors, open mouth, her face ashamed like that of a corpse. And then similarly, she has compared the color of the mother face to that of a dead body. Ashamed, use of like. Her face ashamed like that of a corpse. A comparison. Comparison. So she has used a simile. So अब उसने क्या देखा? उसने देखा कि उसकी माँ सोई हुई, मुंह उसका खुला है और वो छोटी नींद ले रही है। एंड वो उसने देखा कि उसकी माँ को उसने नोटिस किया, एक्सप्लेन किया उसने कि वो उसकी माँ का जो फेस का कलर है वो तो वो तो ऐश जैसा है, वो तो एकदम राख जैसा हो गया है। दिस मीन दैट सम स्मोकी अपीयरेंस आर ऑन फेस एंड शी अपीयर्स लाइक अ डेड बॉडी एंड शी अपीयर्स लाइक ए डेड बॉडी she appears like a dead body. Up. Okay. I hope you must have understood by this, up to this. Now the next, that she was as old, that she was as old as she looked, but soon put that thought away. I looked out at young trees sprinting, the merry children spilling out of their. Spilling means coming out, letting out, and sprinting means moving fast. And here, again, she has used three literary devices. One is consonants. Use of consonants means the sound of a consonant. Use of sound S and T. Then she has used a imagery here. Imagery means when you imagine something. See here, she has produced a contrast. What is going on in the car and what is going outside the car. Inside the car, it is death, and outside the car, it is life. That is called imagery. When the poet says trees sprinting, merry children spilling. And then she has used repetition. Then she has used looked. Looked, she has used twice. Looked, but soon put that thought away and looked out. That is called repetition. Hope you must have understood it, my dear children. So let me tell you something about it. अब पोएट रियलाइज क्या करती है कि क्या उसकी माँ इतनी बूढ़ी हो गई है that her mother has grown old. As she felt pain for her, उसके लिए दर्द महसूस हुआ, उसके दिल में दर्द महसूस हुआ. Pangs of pain filled her heart. But soon she tried to get rid of those painful memories, painful thoughts by diverting her thoughts outside the cars, towards the trees outside, towards the trees. The young trees, although stationary, खड़े होते हैं ना, but they seem to be running very fast as though they were sprinting. Moving car में ऐसा ही महसूस होता है बेटे. Whenever we are in a moving vehicle, हमें पास खड़ी वस्तुएं ऐसे लगती हैं जो पीछे भाग रही हैं. वही उसे महसूस. She also saw what? She also saw children coming out of their houses to play into the playground. And all these things, they were full of energy. They were full of life. They were full of happiness. And in contrast to her mother, who sat next to her, dozed, open mouthed, feeling as good as a dead body. Looking as good as a dead body. Now move. Let us move further. Let us move further. But after the first security check, standing a few yards away, I looked again at her wan pale. Wan means dim and weak, pale means dull and careless. No, she. Security check जो है, security check. Security check is a symbolism of life. Poet continues that when she reached the airport, she finished with the security check and stood a few yards away from her mother. She noticed her mother last time का look के लिए कि now she was to part from her mother. She was to go. अब वो जाने वाली है वहां से. She is to board a plane. And her mother can't cross that line. अब बोर्डिंग पास आपको मिलता है तो आप अंदर चले जाते हैं ना, उसके बाद आप मिलने वाले तो पीछे छूट जाते हैं. तो उसने अंतिम दफा उस दरवाजे से दाखिल होने के पहले अंतिम दफा अपनी मां को मुड़कर देखा. उसने क्या नोटिस किया She noticed her mother's aging face. She noticed her mother's aging face, which looked so dull and weak and pale. Which looked so dull and weak and pale. बहुत पेल कैसा पेल कैसा पेल कैसा डल और कैसा पेल as a late winter's moon and felt that old familiar ache, my childhood fears. But all I said was, see you soon, Amma. And all I did was smile and smile and smile. कैसा पेस जैसा कि सर्दियों का लेट सर्दियों का चांद होता है धुंध में घिरा हुआ जिसकी रोशनी छन कर नीचे जमीन पर नहीं आती जो काला नजर आता है वह कहती है वैसे ही मौत के साय ने उसकी माँ का चेहरा ढक लिया था उसकी माँ का चेहरा मौत के साय ने ढक लिया था द पोएट कंपेयर्स हर मदर टू द लेट विंटर्स मून as in the moon in winters is not shiny. It's not shiny, and even her mother's face had also lost her youthful grace and shine. Even her mother's face has lost her youthful grace and shine. खत्म हो गई थी वो इसीलिए वो कहती है because her mother was getting older and weaker day by day. The signs of approaching death were eminent on her face. The poet feels the fear of her separation. पहले तो क्या था बचपन में हम सबको होता है बेटा हम सबको होता है वी ऑल फियर इट माँ की जब बाजार में जाते हैं माँ की उंगली छूट जाती है उंगली पकड़कर और उंगली अगर छूट जाती है माँ थोड़ी दूर हो जाती है तो हम रो पड़ते हैं देख लें और मेरी माँ कहाँ गई द फियर ऑफ लूजिंग हर एंड दैट इज अ टेम्पररी लॉस्ट नाउ शी फील्स दैट नाउ शी इज गोइंग टू लूज हर मदर permanently forever because she is going to die because she is not going to meet her mother alive again these thoughts because as she used to feel during her childhood yes as a child she couldn't bear the pain and pangs of separation from her mother she couldn't bear the pains and pangs of separation from her mother but now her mother has grown old and is about to die the poet feels that maybe this is the last time that she is seeing her mother alive. Maybe. Next time, only the news of her death will come to her. She won't be able to see her mother alive again. She tries to hide her fears. She never wanted to show her sentiments to her mother. She never wanted to show her pains, pangs to her mother. So what she did? What she did, she said to her mother, she wanted to hide her fear from her mother. She never wanted to let her mother know of her approaching death. She said that she will soon see her again. She says so because she doesn't want to lose her mother. She put on a false smile on her face, hiding all her pains, hiding all her agonies, hiding all her pangs, hiding all her fears. She spread a false smile on her face and said, see you soon, Amma. हम जल्दी मिलेंगे माँ, knowing very well that she won't be able to meet her mother again in this life. Here, my dear children, he has used repetition, smile, she has used thrice. Then rhyming scheme of the poem doesn't have any rhyming scheme or the rhythm. It is a free verse poem, so there is no rhyming scheme. Simile. And again, she has used a simile. The mother's face is compared to the late winter's moon because both are dull and fearless. Use of as a late winter's moon. Hope, my dear children, you have yes. You must have liked this poem. You must have understood it very well. And I am quite sure that you are now in a position to answer any question which comes from this poem. Yes, my dear children. And it's a time for me to ask you some questions. Let me ask you, what is the kind of pain and ache that the poet feels? What is the kind of pain and ache that the poet feels? And, my dear children, the answer to it is When the poet sees her aging mother, who is about to die, she felt the pain of losing her. This is a similar to the pain which she used to feel if her mother was not near her. She feels that as her mother is growing old and pale, she will die soon and they will get separated forever. Time and death never spare anyone, not even poet's mother, and so she has to lose her. Now, the second question to you is, why are the young trees described as sprinting? Why are the young trees described as sprinting? And the probable answer, according to me, my dear children, is while the poet was on her way to the airport, she saw the trees beside the road, which seemed to be running fast as she was traveling in a car. It seemed as if they were sprinting. Here, the poet tries to show the difference between her pale and weak mother, who looked like a corpse, and the trees that was running and were full of life. That were running and were full of life. Now, my third question, my dear children, why has the poet brought in the image of merry children spilling out of their homes? Why she has brought out the image of merry children spilling out of their homes? Yes, my dear children. The poet brings in the image of merry children to show the deep contrast between the joy and happiness of the life which can be seen in the merry children and the passivity of life which can be felt by looking at the ashamed face of the old mother who is old and decaying. Yes, children, this is what I feel is the answer. Now, question number four. Why has the mother been compared to the late winter's moon? Why has the mother been compared to the late winter's moon? Yes, my dear children. The mother has been compared to the late winter's moon because the moon in the winter season is dim and appears lifeless. It doesn't look shiny. Similarly, the poet's mother, due to aging, has become dull. Her color is similar to that of ash. It looks dull and has lost all its youth. She looks like a dead body. She looks like a corpse. Now, the last question is, what do the parting words of the poet and her smile signify? What do the parting words of the poet and her smile signify? The poet's parting words, "See you soon, Amma," show the pain and fear of losing her mother. But she smiles and looks at her mother and give her ailing mother assurance that she will meet her soon. How one can easily see that she is trying to hide her real feelings of pain and pangs and fear from her mother and tries to console herself and her mother that they both will be able to see each other again. So, my dear children, this is what was this. But now, according to the latest syllabus, which has been issued by the NCERT and CBSE, now the questions will come. Your paper has been divided into three parts, two parts now. 40 parts for the MCQs. It includes two comprehension parts with 10 marks each and four questions from the textbook having 1 mark each. MCQs are. And then, as usual, second part is of 40 marks, 12 marks for the your 14 marks for your writing section and next for your textbooks. So, accordingly, I had tried to frame some questions from this poem, MCQs from this poem. Let us read those. Let me read those to you. So, my mother had 66 MCQs. Question number one: who is the poet of the poem? Your options are, I've given the options: John Keats, Rudyard Kipling, William Wordsworth, or Kamala Das. Kamala Das is the poet. And question number two, what is her work well known for? For their originality, versatility, and flavor of the soil, for their popularity, for their style, or for the expression used. So I know you can distinguish the answer. Answer A is the correct answer. Otherwise, let me tell you. Question number three. What is the kind of pain and act that the poet feels? Still, these questions are not there in any book. So please try to understand these questions and try to take them down. What is the kind of pain and ache that the poet feels? Losing her mother, heart attack, headache, children screaming at her. Losing her mother. Yes. In which language has Kamala Das written stories and novels? English and Tamil, English and Hindi, English and Urdu, English and Malayalam. Yes. She's a Malayali, so definitely English and Malayalam. Name the poetic devices used in the poem. Metaphor, alliteration, simile, all these. Yes, all these. All these have been used. Next question. What is the significance of the title My Mother at 66? Option A. The poet's fear of losing her old mother. Option B. The poet's fear of moving fast. Option C. The poet's inability to express her feelings. And option D. All these. Yes. What do you think? Think it over. Come to the correct answer. I know you can come. So I won't be telling you the answer. Which poetic device is tree sprinting? Is it a metaphor? Is it a simile? Is it an alliteration? Is it a personification? Yes. Yes, children, it's a personification. Trees has been shown as running, a living beings. Now, the next poem is which is the distinctive feature of the poem? Option A is metaphors. Option B, simile used. Option C, alliteration used, or narrative style using a single sentence in a set of 14 lines. Yes, it is a narrative style using a single sentence in a set of 14 lines. Yes, that is the correct answer. Now, next question, what does the narrative style of the poem signify? Different thoughts, many thoughts, contrasting thoughts, a single thread of thoughts mixed with harsh realities. Yes, think it over. Yes, you are close to it. Yes, contrasting thoughts. Yes. Then next question is what is the main idea of the poem? Option A, eternal painful old age and its fears. Option B, mother and the daughter love. Option C, helplessness of a daughter. Option D, lack of strength. And I think it appears to you that every option is the right option. So what it can be? Think it. Come to the conclusion. Next question. What did the poet realize with the pain? Option A. Her mother's appearance is like a corpse with growing age. She is helpless. The option C. Old age is painful or she has duties. Option D. Yeah, very simple. Yes. Very simple. You can come to it. Next question. What is the familiar ache? Option A, her childhood fears of losing her mother. Option B, her mother's weak health. Option C, her duties. Or option D, her helplessness. Definitely, it's very clear. Option A, why are the trees described as sprinting? Option A, as running, their running appearance is to show fast moving change of human life. Option B, to show their running appearance. Option C, to tell how trees look from a running car. Or up to show the speed of the car. Yes, no doubt in it. Option A. Yes. What do the running trees signify? A fast moving appearance, speed of the moving car, fast moving change of human life from the childhood to old age? None. Option C is the correct answer, my dear children. Yes. Next. What does the ashamed face signify? Option A, to show the poet's fears. Option B, to tell her aging is painful. Option C, pale and lifeless face of the poet's mother. Or to show the old age. Yes. Tell me the exact answer. You are very near to it. But I may tell you one thing. C is not the correct answer. Yes. 16. What does the poet notice in the outer world? Option A, spreading trees and running roads, schools and roads, other vehicles, many people on the road. Yes, very well. A. What do the parting words "see you soon, Amma" signify? Her helplessness, her optimistic farewell full of cheerfulness, her hope, her helplessness and cheerfulness. Yes, last option. Next question. What does the poet smile signify in the poem? Her assurance to mother and helplessness inside. She has a responsibility. She has to do her duty first. She is a loving daughter, no doubt. Option A is very clear. Option A is the correct answer. And next question, why are the trees described as sprinting? As running appearance and to show fast moving change of human life, to show their running appearance, to tell how to look for a running car, to show the speed of the car, no doubt. Option A is the correct answer. Now the next question, again, what does the ashamed face signify? To show poet's fears, to tell aging is painful. What does the poet notice in the outer world? Next question. What do the parting words, "see you soon, Amma" signify? Her helplessness, her optimistic farewell, full of cheerfulness, her hope, her hopelessness and cheerfulness. What is the universality of the theme of the poem? Option A, death is a truth, death is a reality. Everyone can feel the pain and loss associated with death. All these, my dear children, all these. What worried the poet when she looked at her mother? Her face, her loving words, her declining poor health. Definitely her declining poor health. Why did the poet look at his mother again? Because of her love, because of her care, because of her duties, because of fear and insecurity. No doubt because of fear and insecurity. Why does the poet use the imaginary of merry children spilling out of their home? To show hope, to show happiness, to show youthfulness at our age, to show lost hope and happiness of youth. Yes, option D is the correct answer. What rhyming scheme? No, couplet, monorhyme, sonnet style, or free verse? It's a free verse. Quote an example of simile used in the poem. Familiar, like that of a corpse, wan and pale, the merry children. Option B, my dear children. Quote an example of metaphor used in the poem as a late winter's moon, children's fear, driving from a parent's home, none. No, 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 no. Quote an example of alliteration used in the poem. Like a Shane, smile and smile and smile. Friday morning, none. Smile and smile and smile. Why does the poet feel sacred? Because of our duties and commitments, because of our job, because of our children, because of our mother's deteriorating health. Yes, last call. Why does the poet feel parted, upset, and sad? Option A, because of her fears. Option B, because she was getting late. Option C, fear of missing her flight. Or option D, because of her duties towards her mother and her needs. Yes, and her own needs. Because of her fears. How is the imaginary of young trees and merry children a contrast to the mother? Hope is a way of life, greenery and autumn, spring and autumn, mother's health, hopelessness, and trees and merry children, youthfulness and hope. No doubt, option D. So, my dear children, this is what this poem was. I hope you have understood it very well and you are in a position to answer any question which comes from this poem. See you soon with the next poem or the chapter very soon. Till then, bye. Bye, my dear children.
इस वीडियो को लास्ट तक देखने के लिए थैंक यू। अगर आपको वीडियो पसंद आया है तो इसे लाइक और शेयर करें। सब्सक्राइब करना बिल्कुल ना भूलें। अगर आपको कोई डाउट है तो कमेंट सेक्शन में उसे लिखें, हम जल्दी ही उसका रिप्लाई देंगे।